Look, I don't care that Georgia just won a championship, and to be honest with you, I don't think Kirby Smart cares too much about it either because he wants more, and by doing what he just did, it proves to me that Georgia isn't slowing down anytime soon. Georgia is not, and let me repeat this, they are not slowing down at all. They will continue to get 4- and 5-star recruit after 4- and 5-star recruit after 4- and 5-star recruit after 4- and 5-star recruit and so on. SEC. SEC, SEC, SEC. I was thinking late last night how funny it is that we're already talking about next year. Okay, who's going to win it? Is Alabama and Nick Saban going to be on the revenge tour, or is Georgia going to go back to back to back? It just seems like at this point we're assuming it's going to be either Alabama or Georgia because in reality, what's a better option? Michigan's head coach Jim Harbaugh, it's looking like he doesn't even want to be there because he's entertaining NFL offers, and Ohio State, well, yeah, they got great talent and a pretty good head coach, but they can't win the big one. I just think it's funny how SEC fans, more particularly Georgia and Alabama fans, they've been going at each other's necks the past few days because a lot of people are saying Alabama's fallen off and Georgia is the new king of college football. I'll say this about it. It's a interesting debate because it is a debate. For example, last year, we wouldn't have even considered putting Georgia and Kirby Smart in that category with Nick Saban and Bama, but this year we are. However, with that being said, in today's video on this beautiful Saturday, it is kind of cold, but it is still a beautiful Saturday, we're going to talk about Georgia, how the rich are getting richer. Georgia and Kirby Smart are wasting no time at all. They're taking no time off whatsoever, and they just picked up an absolute stud in the transfer portal. And when I say a stud, I mean a stud. This guy was a 5-star recruit. Well, actually, my bad, let me change that. I think most recruiting sites had him as a 4-star. Regardless of that, it doesn't matter. It is a big pickup. He plays on the defensive side of the ball, and I think he's got a good chance of starting next season. That's how special this young man is. But also in today's video, we got to talk about Shane Beamer, the South Carolina head coach, for calling out what he labeled as a quote-unquote second-rate JV radio program. Let's just say that your boy Shane Beamer was not happy whatsoever with what a local radio station had to say about him and his team. It kind of shocked me he even addressed this because I feel like as a coach in the SEC, you got to be bigger in this, but hey, I'm all for Shane Beamer being petty. I think he's earned that right, and also we got to talk about Tennessee's star wide receiver Jalen Hyatt and what some people are saying about him heading into the NFL draft. If this ain't the definition of a jam-packed video, I don't know what is. You already know the intro. If you like college football content, consider joining our community. If not, that's cool too. All right, Matt, blah, 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 shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. First things first, I'm only going to talk about this for 45 seconds. Check this out. I came across this today. It just came out. Multiple NFL scouts believe Jalen Hyatt's speed could cause him to jump up in draft boards. One anonymous NFL GM said he believes Hyatt has the quote-unquote Tyreek Hill ability to turn screens into scores. I don't know about all that. Look, no one loved watching Jalen Hyatt more than me this year. He put on I don't even know what you would call it. It was just a insane performance against Alabama. He had not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 touchdowns in that game. But comparing him and Tyreek Hill, that's too much. I think Jalen Hyatt is a great wide receiver, and he will more than likely be a late first-round pick, early second-round pick. But he's not a Tyreek Hill. I just don't see the comparison. There's really fast, and then there's guys like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They're on a completely different level. Jalen Hyatt's good, don't get me wrong, Tennessee fans, but I don't see teams wanting to jump up and really going after this guy like this quote or really this post says. Could be wrong, though. I found that interesting. Moving on to our second topic of the video, we got to talk about good old Shane Beamer. Now, I got to say, out of all the head coaches this season, I think Shane Beamer, he's the one that impressed me the most. Because when it comes down to it, nobody did more with less than Shane Beamer. South Carolina is not a very talented football team compared to your Georgias and Alabamas. That's not me trying to throw shade at South Carolina. We know this. South Carolina fans, you should know this. You don't have 5-star recruits everywhere lining up on your team. Like I was saying, though, I think he's doing a heck of a job, and he should have earned the respect from all the other people around his area, but apparently, I guess he has not. Let me show you what I'm talking about. The Fans Upstate, which is a local radio show, I assume, or that's what Shane Beamer said in South Carolina, tweeted out this. It's a link to the article, but basically summed up, Shane Beamer in South Carolina really wanted Garrett Riley. Clemson got him. What does that say about the quote-unquote tier status of both of these two programs? So basically, if you don't know what that is referring to, Garrett Riley, the great offensive coordinator that was at TCU, a lot of schools wanting him, and he wound up going to Clemson. And these people, this radio network, this Twitter account, they're trying to say that, oh, well, Shane Beamer really wanted him, but he couldn't get him. What does that say about South Carolina? Even if this was true, and I want y'all to hear me out on this, It says nothing about South Carolina. Clemson's a great program. Let's say, for example, Shane Beamer really wanted Garrett Riley and he chose Clemson over South Carolina. Well, who cares? That doesn't mean that South Carolina is a lesser program than Clemson. Maybe Garrett Riley, that just seemed like a better fit. Maybe there was more money in the contract offer. This radio network was trying to make it seem like South Carolina State beat out South Carolina for Garrett Riley. Good old Mr. Shane Beamer himself wound up responding to this late last night, and here's what he had to say. I normally don't respond to second-rate/JV radio programs I've never heard of, and apparently no one else has either, considering you're in upstate and have 8,000 followers. Oh my. Continuing along here, he said, do you have a good source other than, oh, I don't know, me? Happy for Garrett, we got our guy, in all caps. Yeah, it's safe to say that Shane Beamer was feeling some type of way. Under what Shane Beamer said, somebody replied, and this is what I was talking about earlier, Beamer spends way too much time arguing with folks on Twitter. It's not what elite coaches in college football do. We are number one in our market, have won best show in our state, and I'm hosting tomorrow for the number one network in the country in a prime slot preview in the NFL playoffs. So I assume this Mark Ryan guy, he works for this radio station. And I am going to say this, I agree with the Mark Ryan guy. I don't understand why, as a D1 Power 5 SEC head coach, you're replying to anybody on Twitter whatsoever in a negative way or fashion. Lions don't concern themselves with sheeps, not just in this situation, but you can apply that analogy to me, you, and your everyday life. I'm sure right now, as to when I'm speaking, as to when you're watching this video, there is probably someone out there tweeting about how Nick Saban is the worst college football coach of all time, he's washed up and he's overrated. Now let me ask you a question. Do you think Nick Saban even cares about that, rather less is going to respond to it? No, because lions don't concern themselves with sheeps. It sounds arrogant and cocky to say, but it is what it is. That's the reality. Let me give you a better example. Let's say there's this multi-millionaire you know, but he drives a 2004 Honda Civic. And let's say he goes to a grocery store and somebody points at him and goes, oh, he's driving a car from 2004, he must be broke. He's probably not making a lot of money. Well, do you really think that multimillionaire even cares if someone thinks he's broke or not? No, he's not insecure. He knows he's rich. I could give you 10,000 more examples. Lions don't concern themselves with sheep, as do why Shane Beamer would even try to validate his program in South Carolina like this. I don't know. I would have just let this go. There's no reason whatsoever to address it. Who cares? It's the same thing that's going on with Nick Saban. Everybody's saying he's falling off. Georgia's the new Alabama. Well, you don't see Nick Saban out here tweeting about how Alabama's better than Georgia. You don't see Nick Saban saying, hey, I don't care if you hate Bill O'Brien. We got our guy. There's simply no reason to do it. I did think it was kind of funny, though, how he brought up how this account only has 8,000 followers. Let me know your thoughts about that situation. But finally, moving on to the main topic of the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto his video, we gotta talk about good old Kirby Smart and Georgia. This is so intriguing to me, and I can't wait to just watch the SEC, watch Nick Saban and Kirby Smart the next 3 to 4 years. A reason for that is because at this point, you got Alabama fans yelling at Georgia fans saying, hey, I don't care that you won your little back-to-back championships. Until you win 5 or 6 like us, you're not on our level. But on the other side of it, you got Georgia fans going, hey, we're on the come up, so just watch out. I think it's so fascinating because I don't understand why Georgia fans and Alabama fans just can't both appreciate greatness at the same time. It's the same thing with the Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Kobe argument. Why do we just gotta have one GOAT? Why can't we appreciate all these guys? That's how I look at it. I always try to enjoy greatness because it's not always gonna be here forever. Don't worry, I'm not here to talk about this Georgia and Alabama debate. I'm sure we'll talk more about that down the road in the offseason. I'm here to talk about what Kirby Smart has just done. What has it been? 4, 5 days since Georgia won the championship? You would think Kirby Smart would relax. He would chill a little bit. But he's not. About 24 hours ago, Georgia landed one of, if not the best recruit in the transfer portal. Well, I'm not going to say he's the best. He's definitely one of the best, and he goes by the name of Smoke Bowie. If you're an SEC fan, you probably heard the name because he played for Texas A&M last year, and it was actually controversial that he chose Texas A&M over Georgia. Originally, I believe at one point in time, I'm 98% sure on this, he was committed to Georgia, but he went to Texas A&M, and we know why. Hey, I can't fault the kid. He was chasing the money. He was chasing the bag, but finally, he got the bag, and now he's coming back to his senses. He's going to Georgia. For those of you that are curious, in the class of 2022, he was a 4-star recruit and ranked as the 68th best overall player in the country. Georgia fans are starting to get like Alabama fans. I'm sure some of you are probably not even excited about this because you're getting spoiled. You're coming off back-to-back championships. Not much is going to excite you outside of winning a championship. I've been there. there. And to be honest, I think Georgia would have been A-okay next year without this guy. But the thing is, and it's why I always say this, the rich are getting richer. This is a guy in Kirby Smart, I'm sure he was looking at it from the same aspect I am. You don't need him, but you surely want him. It's like, hey, we don't need you, but we'll take you. Come on along. I fully expect Smoke Billy to be a plug-in and play type of guy. He's going to fit in from the start. Look, I don't care that Georgia just won a championship, and to be honest with you, I don't think Kirby Smart cares too much about it either because he wants more, and by doing what he just did, it proves to me that Georgia isn't slowing down anytime soon. Georgia is not, and let me repeat this, they are not slowing down at all. They will continue to get 4- and 5-star recruit after 4- and 5-star recruit after 4- and 5-star recruit after 4- and 5-star recruit and so on. I said this a couple months ago. I think we may be witnessing, this isn't a guarantee, but we may be witnessing the beginning era of the Georgia dynasty. Let me know your thoughts about this down below, but